Got out of the shower, so excuse the hair, okay? But I've been, when you're in the shower, you think a little bit about this and about that. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to, or a few seconds to think about the fact that, oh man, he's thinking about wrong things. It's not even like that. Not even like that, for real. But if you guys are new to like the gaming scene, or if even if you're not, even if you've just seen these G4 headlines left and right on other sites and other gaming channels, here's what's going on. Back in last week or so, Frost came out and said, "Hey, misogyny, 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 blah 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 blah." Pretty much, I'm not gonna like quote for quote her. I'm not gonna get stricken down from G4 standards, but if you want to go to it, it's they've been doubling down on it. Basically, what was said was high ground and morality based bullcrap that they have no ground to stand on when it came to saying these things. Talking about how all of gaming is sexist and basically the same spat that Arnita Sarkeesian went on back when the Gamergate situation was a thing. Go ahead and Google that if you want. That didn't turn out too well for anyone involved. Her, I mean, she got to finally see the UN, I guess. She got her little money that she didn't use for any of the projects. But anyway, I digress. Um, yeah, so she came out swinging. Frost came out swinging at pretty much every male gamer out there. And if you know anything about the history of G4 or even just Adam Sessler's rants online, you quickly realized, wow, they have no solid ground to stand on. Here's the truth. The truth is, I don't think this would have hit G4TV as hard if after the initial problem, they would have came out and said, look, Frost was getting some shit. She was dealing with some assholes online. She had a lot of bullies after her, and she just got fed up. It was a mental break. She's she's apologetic, but let's just be honest, bullying is probably not the best option for people in gaming. And I think people would that would have been a little bit easier than doubling down knowing that G4, I'm going to be honest though, this is not just a narrative that G4 has pushed. This is a narrative that's been pushed throughout the entire gaming industry for a number of years now, and it's kind of sad. Basically, they've been pretty much going on the pro-feminist tide wave to try to get more girls into gaming, which is fine. Girls in gaming is awesome. I would love for someone to understand my hobby on the opposite gender. That's not a problem. I have no idea why more girls don't game. It's an extremely fun thing to do, all right? But what I don't understand is why in order to do that we have to demonize every male in existence or say that they're gatekeeping. When yes, there are probably a few people out there who don't get laid that gatekeep. There are probably a few people out there who uh, say some mean things, but I guarantee you it's not something worth even making a huge spiel on a 4 million, what was a 4 million subscriber channel. Okay? Rather than, making a small spat, then apologizing and saying, look, we didn't mean everyone. It was a really rough day and we had a lapse in judgment. Or maybe even just, it was a little much to handle for that day. Just an apology of some sort to the broad, but not forgiving, like, not in a forgiving way towards those who were demonizing. Instead, G4 doubled down. They went after Republicans. They went after everyone else. They've isolated their entire channel from anyone. They've become an elitist snotpag group that no one liked in high school, no one liked in college, no one likes right now. All right? And they became the very thing they said others were doing. They started gatekeeping. I shit you not. Their Discord channel, you need to be a member of it for 3 months just to get in. They started doing the very thing for their channel that they claimed others were doing for gaming. Hypocrisy at its finest. But that aside, like I said, the narrative has been spun in the entire gaming industry that the feminist logic is the right way and is the only way. And it's actually kind of worrisome towards a lot of guys. I mean, this is the kind of shit you hear before genocide. Just gonna say, my race pure, your race not. That's what you'll hear. That is what you'll hear, and only what we're hearing it from is feminists. So it's the kind of shit you hear before mass genocide of any individual. Like, pretty sure that when Nazi killed a lot of Jews in the Holocaust, he was probably spouting this purity nonsense as well, and it's pretty fucked up, to be honest. But I think, like I said, this is where we are in 2021. All right. Now, all the weird ranting and raving aside for on behalf of men's values and whatever, I'm just gonna be honest. If G4 had came out and said, "Look, we may have overstated some claims, we may have exaggerated some shit," and apologized, they wouldn't be going through the shit they're going through now. Every YouTuber around them wouldn't be getting double the views because of them. I mean, YouTube's loving this. Don't make no mistake. A lot of YouTube users are loving this. Now, if you know anything about G4, they were known for spiciness. They basically cultivated the environment they're yelling at right now. And there's a little known fact that back when G4 was around, another key commentator that's suspiciously missing from this whole debacle, even though he's clearly said things on like the Game Awards and that nature, and he has some positive vibes about him. I have no problem, Jeff Neely, no problem with you, but let's just be honest, the fact that you have said or spoken nothing about G4's history, being that you were a part of it, is also quite concerning. Also considering that you peddle a lot of these things, okay? So, yeah, no one's even mentioned the fact that he was on G4 back in the day. But Sessler knows damn well what the brand was capable of back in the day, denial or not, and they can deny it, and they can avoid it, they can dodge the topic all they like. They cultivated the environment they are yelling at right now. And the real reason they're getting flack isn't because of sexist trolls or Nazi Germany or fucking whatever other conspiracy theory they want to shill. Quite literally, they'll blame everyone. Republicans, white male, cis, it doesn't matter. They are on the tirade right now. And they're losing because of it. They're losing a lot. They say they're still growing, but look, anyone can use a viewbot. Kevin Pereira has been known for using viewbots for years. And Adam Sessler blocked me on his page because he knows full and damn well that when it comes to like his history, anyone who's ever come into contact or even known about me knows I'll go into your history quicker than anyone. I will scan every breath you take, every move you make, every little sudden involuntarily eye twitch to see if you're authentic. And the truth is, G4 is not being authentic right now. And that's why they're having a struggle. They're not being authentic. They lack authenticity. It's not because they're evil or mean. It's just because they're fake as fuck with this shit. That's just the general take that a lot of people have. It's not because all these people are sexist or all these people who are coming at them are trolls. All these people are gamers. That's what they don't understand. These are all gamers coming after them. These are not people who want to kill their entire brands just because they have a genuine angst. Normal people don't do that, sweetheart. All right? Normal people don't do that. And you can say I'm mansplaining all you want, but this is actual basic common sense that most of society is built with. I'm just going to be real. Kevin Pereira was a part of G4. Adam Sessler was a part of G4 back when G4 was peddling sexism. They were fucking banking on sexuality. Okay? So, for them to say that it didn't happen, everyone knows is an outright lie. If you're above the age of 30, you know it's an outright lie. Simply put, if you were above the age of 30, you had cable or satellite TV back when you were younger, you know it's an outright lie. Because the original brand banked off of it. It was a straight bank, all right? And I'm not going to lie, sex sells. It happens. That just happens. Is that side of kind of misogynist? Yeah, but hey, I didn't make the industry. That's just how the industry went out. And trying to reform the industry, you have to admit that you made mistakes before you start slamming others. And this is the chronic error. This is the canonical error that G4 has made. G4 said, "Hey, let's just tear down this wall, Gorbachev." They forgot that they didn't bother to say, "Yo, we probably shouldn't have cemented this wall, but let's tear it down." See, wording is everything with people. And if you don't listen to what you're saying, or you don't say things the proper way, they're not going to understand it. And I'm not going to vouch for the high-end feminazi output that they're trying to propagate right now. That is exactly what's going on. Because honestly, Frost has actually outright admitted they did all this just for public outrage. They've outright admitted it thus far by doubling down. They did it all for public outrage. So I do believe that all the views they've got right now, they're going to be short-lived. People mostly you have to go to the video and press play just to ask a question in the comment section of any of their videos, all right? You have to go to their Twitter handle to ask these things. You guys are not getting popular from views, G4. You're not. You're getting popular from rage, and here's the thing about rage. Once people don't get their answers for their questions, it's not going to continue forever. This is not something you can ride off of. You cannot ride off of public outrage. It will eventually kill you. It's a short-sighted development you're getting. That's all you're getting is short-ended this and short-ended that. It's so short-sighted. Anyway, like I said, it's a shame because I grew up watching documentaries for G4, right? My nose is itchy, really incredibly itchy. It's been weird all day today. If it's not been itchy, it's been like sinusy. But oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. I had to scratch it. I wasn't gonna do that on camera. So basically, it's really sad because I grew up watching G4. All right, I remember Icons, the show Icons. I was riveted by Icons. I loved Icons. I loved how they were paying tribute to like some of the lead designers, Hideo Kojima, like in the Metal Gear Solid franchise, things like that. Icons was an awesome show. Attack of the Show I found to be a little corny, but quirky and fun. They were willing to have fun, and that was really cool. Back when they did Attack of the Show on the cable and satellite versions of the network. Before they were trying to do hot takes, when their hot takes were actually hot. Or, not so cringe that they came off as try-hard. That's just the way it works, okay? Like, that's exactly how they're doing it right now. It comes off as try-hard and cringe. A lot of their takes now are definitely for a younger audience. They're definitely baking on a younger audience that doesn't quite understand the world. And I figure, you get this cult mentality, you can nail it into younger audiences and brainwash them. And it's sad. Well, that's the way it is. I'm not going to say that women in gaming don't get bullied. I've seen it. I've stood up against it. I've spoke out against it when seeing it happen, which is different than what Frost is doing. That's a lot different. If someone was like ripping on someone in a game and they were on like live or something and someone's ripping on her in a game and someone came out and defended her, I probably wouldn't be as a variant right now as her painting an entire culture pretty much as misogynist pig boys. Yeah. And I don't care what you think, Adam, about me. I really don't. I don't care if you block me. I don't care if you keep me blocked. In fact, I please do, dude, because I've seen some of your posts. I'd rather not have that toxicity in my life. But I'm gonna be honest. As far as his takes go on Republicans, I've met a few. They're not all that bad. I personally could never really identify as a Republican or a Democrat because you don't go to one side without going extreme on either side. And it's just like, when you have extremisms represent you, it makes you look bad in general. And unfortunately, he is an extreme Democrat. That is exactly one of the reasons. His type of people is one of the reasons I do not align myself with the Democratic Party anymore. I used to be a Democrat, and I got thrown out of a mall for being a Democrat. And it was back when they were doing the like, they were throwing people out of like stores for pies and refusing to serve gay people, throwing people out of stores as a publicity stunt. This was back when Trump was being elected, that I got thrown out of a mall because I was a Democrat. Quite literally, that happened. And now I'm talking like a Karen right now because that's just how I talk. But yeah, it happens. Both of the people who threw me out of the mall were conservative, and there was a highly conservative agenda in the town. In fact, I don't believe there was even an openly open Democratic Party in the town back when I moved here. And that was about 7 years ago. Anyway, but I got thrown out of the mall for it. So I'm not a Republican, and yes, I'm an ex-Democrat, but it doesn't mean I swung to the other side. It just means I realized that the reaction that Democrats gave for Trump being elected was like, okay, we lost. But the Democrats took it to a whole nother level. Like, I felt like, okay, we lost. You know, it happens. Democrats lost their fucking minds when we lost to Trump. And the emotional lack of self-control I could not align with. So I left. I left the party. I was like, look, these crazies are going to make me look bad in the process. I can't do this. They're going to make me feel bad about being sane. Like, so I couldn't do it. I left the party. I went, I wouldn't even say independent, because that's kind of slightly conservative. I went away from either party in general. Like, I have my own viewpoints. I wouldn't consider them, lump them into one group, I don't think, anymore. Because conservatives have kind of taken the whole independent side thing. And then, like, liberal, like, I have some liberal viewpoints, and I have some conservative viewpoints. And there's really no party that absolutely represents people like me, that think only with logic, common sense, and a base stance of morality. Okay? There's just not a lot of people who look at the responsibility version of the government that I do. Like, I believe a lot in responsibility, personal accountability, personal responsibility, understanding that, look, you're not always right, but you have to be willing to be wrong to be right, you know, like, and there's not a lot of people who are willing to understand that anymore. It doesn't matter what party you're part of, it doesn't exist anymore, and I'm just a part of, I guess, a lost relic, a dead or old relic. So if you're not extremist, you're not a part of this culture. And it's sad, because that's the precursor before a culture dies. Yeah. But all that aside, G4 is a part of the Democratic extremist group. It's just that simple. And if you're watching and you're enjoying G4 content, good for you. But there's going to be a lot of people who are just not going to be down with your political agenda when it comes to games. A lot of people play games to escape the agenda. We play games to avoid that whole, like, oh, let's get down to business to defeat the Hans bullshit. Alright? I know that was a Mulan reference, but I liked the movie. Oh well. Watch me end up getting canceled for Asian like appropriation or some shit by a whole bunch of white kids with purple hair. That happens. But yeah. Anyway, like I said, all this wouldn't have even been happening if G4 would have just came out and said, "Look, we had a lapse in judgment and a moment of weakness. We know you guys aren't all that bad." But they've doubled down on the hate train and said, if you don't like our take, then you can fucking leave. And in doing so, this fire is just going to keep dousing gasoline on the fire. It's only going to get bigger. I mean, and a lot of people who are, like I said, yeah, they're growing at the moment probably. They're probably gaining some views, but you kind of have to look at people in order to comment on their videos. Like I said, you have to look at the video to comment on it. That's the way it works. And if you don't do that, then you don't get to comment. You have to click on the video to comment. So this outrage is a manufactured, short-lived publicity stunt. That is literally all it is. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I've actually spoken against it enough. Any more views or clicks to their Twitter handle or YouTube, it's going to be done by the simps. I'm not going to help them grow from such toxicities anymore. It's disgusting. Adam has been transparent about hating JRPGs on past G4 shows, which kind of seems a little racist, because just hating all JRPGs just because, that's a little racist, but okay. And then you've got like then you've got some of the cringe hot takes on the new G4, trying to mimic K-pop shows, I guess, to appease androgyny or even gay rights activists. I don't know. They've got weird hot takes on there. Yeah, I commented on them. Because it's a little cringe. And it's a little tryhardish. And their style of comedy is a little bland. I'm sure it's fun for the kids, but that's because they're trying to indoctrinate your kids. That's how it works. It's like, let's change culture for the better. Okay, but should we admit to ever having been a part of that culture? When they decided to no, they shouldn't, that's when everything went downhill. Like I said, if G4 wanted to actually do that correctly, the correct way to address those types of people would be like, okay, so here's the deal. As G4TV, as a person who's a part of the brand and understanding of the history of the brand, which she did not clearly understand the history of the brand, but so it's probably one of the reasons she spoke out of tone. But understanding the history of the brand, I know G4 was a part of all the bullshit, and we sincerely feel deep regret for past historical mistakes. And we want to make up for that by trying to help things for the better. And so we need to address a couple issues that needed to be expressed, that this wasn't about all people in the gaming community. It also needed to be expressed that, or at the very least, examples should have been shown at the instance that it was being done. But because you decided to do shit spur of the moment, thinking that it was going to help views for the channel, you fucked up. Admit it. We've all done it. I've said stupid shit in my past. Okay? I'm not grandstanding. I full well admit that I've done wrong in the past. But if you choose not to admit it, you're 3 times more guilty than the aggressors you attack. That's just all there is to it. That is all there is to it. And that is why they're getting the outrage that they're getting. Adam Sessler has never been one to admit anything that he's done wrong. He'll just delete it and walk away. Because he is a part of a culture that says sweep it under the rug unless it's popular. That's my hot take on it. I'm going to leave it with you guys. And yeah, if this offends some whatever group, good for you. Be offended. Know what that's like. Embrace it. It's an emotion. It's human. It happens. If you're going to use it to try to cancel me, you should know I don't get any views anyway. So this doesn't even matter to me. If anything, you'll bring attention to my channel. So, yeah. That's just where I stand on it. And I don't think it was right what they did. I don't deny that it exists, that these things happen. It would be outright ignorant to deny that these things happen. But as far as speaking out against it, let's just be honest. G4, you really had no ground to stand on. You had no ground to stand on. You know it. I know it. 40 billion people worldwide know it. Shame on you. Okay? Just shame on you. Peace. Zanexia out.